Hey guys. So just a couple quick things before we start, because this is the first one that I'm actually filming after getting it set up. All of these podcasts now are going to be on Apple Podcasts. So I think you can get them through Apple iTunes. If you don't have an Apple device, you can actually download Apple iTunes and get them through there. And the other thing is, we're gonna probably change some of the stuff. I'm looking at maybe doing this only 2 days a week. I'm not sure yet. So just a couple quick things. And then if you're listening on Apple iTunes, there's a good chance that a lot of this stuff you're going to want to follow and see the actual video, because there's things that don't translate real well to audio. So there always is going to be a link in the description of the podcast, so you can get here to the channel and watch the pre-recorded thing. And some of you guys are going to recognize this is what is worn in the intro. That is the original sweatshirt and hat for the channel. So, all right, guys. 2A Dave is here. Dave, thank you for being a paying member. So tonight our guest is Josh Brooks. He is the lead editor for the blogs and pretty much everything that's done on Full30.com. If it's not a video, he actually has a video channel. But if it's not a video, there's a good chance that Josh wrote it or had a big hand in making sure it got written. So let's go ahead and let's bring in Josh Brooks. He and I had a good conversation before we started this, so we kind of know what direction we're going with this. So, hey, Josh.
All right. How's it going?
It's going. So everyone's here.
Scooch this over. Scooch you guys over.
So, like I said, Josh is a Marine. He's not an active Marine, but as we know, Marines are always Marines. So, Josh, I wanted to ask you first off, so before we get into anything else, everybody knows that I have a channel on Full30. Everybody knows that I talk about the channel. And I like to say, sometimes people say it's a direct competitor, but it really isn't. So kind of give us a lowdown on Full30, not just the videos, the forums, the blogs, everything. What is Full30 in its entirety?
Right. So Full30 is more of a community. Yeah, we're a video hosting platform that is similar to YouTube. We do have some similarities, but Full30 in and of itself is more of a community, right? So we've got more than just one piece of the puzzle that you would expect to find in a community. And most, I would say probably 99.9% of the engagement I've seen on the Full30 platform, you know, it's coming from gun owners or from people that are actually a little bit more knowledgeable than the average person. So like if you're on a YouTube video, say you're watching one of your videos, someone could have found your video while they were searching for, you know, a specific knife from this Call of Duty game or something. They don't know anything about knives, but the people on the Full30 community,
it does happen a lot, actually.
So people on Full30, when they're engaging with your content, are going to be people that are a little bit more knowledgeable on the topic. So they might be, you know, asking more topical or relevant questions to you, giving you the opportunity to respond to them, or they might be making comments that you as a content creator find a lot more useful because it's, you know, there's a little bit less, I guess you could call it noise in that aspect. And then, you know, we've got the Full30 forum, which is I've seen called the United Nations of the gun world. Let me stand up all proud of that.
Aiden Miguel says more friendly to actual adults.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't have a Full30 kids, and I don't think we intend on making a Full30 kids anytime soon. However, if you wanted to put a video on Full30 of you teaching your kid how to shoot, we'd be more than okay with that, unlike a couple of other places that exist on the internet that I won't name. You know, Pornhub's fine with it. Can I say Pornhub? Pornhub's perfectly fine with whatever you want to put on there.
Yeah, there's some Pornhub references occasionally on my YouTube channel. I did what I was going to tell you. I do like to try and keep, and you're pretty professional. I do like to try and keep the profanity to a limit because I do monetize this. But I found that as long as I don't go above 5 F-bombs, I'm usually pretty good. And that usually has occurred on the longer live streams where there was a lot more alcohol consumed. That's another thing, guys. This is actually the only time I drink is when I do these podcasts, so in case anyone's asking. And there's going to be a good chance that even though it is the Beer and Blades podcast, that there's going to be a lot of the days that I don't. So, so you like how I kind of know how Full30 started.
Right.
But like, give us a background how it really started, because you've basically been there since the beginning, right?
Right. So I came on board at Full30 around December of 2015. By that time, it had already been up and running for about 6 to 7 months. That was the 1.0 version of the webpage. And originally, it all came to fruition because there was, obviously there was the YouTube adpocalypse that happened. And I don't think any community in the entire YouTube sphere got hit by the adpocalypse quite as hard as the firearm content creators, because that was also, around the time of Sandy Hook and everything going on. So there was a big push by, the Democrats and all the partisan politics and people leaning on the left that were they were bound and determined to get the guns. And one way to get the guns was to go after the gun people on YouTube, because everyone was on YouTube spreading the message of the Second Amendment, which is a luxury we in the United States here have that most people don't have anywhere else in the world. There's a couple of small countries that do have something similar to the 2A, but we're one of the true bastions of the world where we have that right. But YouTube didn't see it that way, especially then. So there was a lot of creators that came together, and they said, we need an alternative. We need somewhere that we can be where we don't need to worry about what we say. Like, we don't need to worry about an algorithm or a robot being triggered and coming by and telling us our video is not advertiser friendly, or this is a dangerous activity, or, they didn't want to deal with that. So
and a lot of times that's done arbitrarily, and the people that are making those decisions have no idea. Like
right.
Most of these people were here. They can remember the time it happened. The video got taken down. You were machine gunnery instructor. I was as well. I went to Salwick, and then I went to the Navy Crew Serve weapons instructor course. I mean, if anyone's qualified, it's a military qualified weapons instructor to be able to do these videos. But it just, even though you follow the rules, even if you follow the rules, that content can be taken down. And I think it's pretty cool that you've just given that a place that it can reside.
Right. And we're definitely by no means the only people doing this. I'd be out of my mind if I said we were, because Gunstreamer exists and YouTube exists. So they both saw the same need and made the same system. I like to think that we're doing it a little bit better than they are, because we've definitely been doing it quite a bit longer than they have. So we know the ins and the outs a little bit more, I like to think. And our server infrastructure, our video hosting platform, the forums, our blog, everything is owned by us. Everything is developed by us. Everything is hosted by us. The only way Full30 would get shut down, the only way it would be even remotely possible for Full30 to be shut down, is if the FBI started kicking in server farms and saying, we're taking all of these offline. And
I just brought up the actual, you were talking about the blogs and all that. So I just brought it up, and you've got five homes. And as you look, the name that's on there, that's a guest blog, but majority of the stuff that's on here was written by Josh here. So there's a lot of stuff on these when you go to Full30. It's not just, unlike YouTube, there's a lot of stuff there. That's what I was also going to bring up and show. Let me stop this one. So go ahead, continue. I'll pull this one up, and I'll show everybody what I was talking about.
Yeah, and if anyone here ever feels like they want to get something off their chest or do a guest blog post, my email is listed on the blog. You can email me, send me your pitch, and if we like it, we'll publish it for you and share it with our audience. I've got absolutely no problems doing that. So that's definitely a platform that's open to everyone.
So as you can see, you've got the Full30, you got the home, you got the blog, you got the forum, you got the store, you got giveaways. I'm obviously not logged in, but like you can go to any of these spots. You can go, they do giveaways and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a big blog area. What's like 22 pages of blog stuff, which is reviews and stuff that Josh has done. And to tell you the truth, even though I'm a creator over there, I honestly, until I looked at it tonight, didn't realize how much other stuff there really, really was over there.
Yeah, and the giveaways, we do one big giveaway every quarter. Right now we're doing our summer EDC giveaway. I think that ends actually not too long from now. I think it's at the end of this month that ends. And we're actually, there's 2 pistols being given away with that. One is a custom 1911 done in the fashion of Full30. So it's actually a 1911 with this logo on the grips. And it's a handmade 1911 by... I cannot remember.
I saw it. I entered into it.
Well, hopefully you win, then we can get a good review on it too.
That's what I need, is another 1911.
Hopefully, whoever wins does, put together a video for their thoughts and their opinions on the gun, because I'd love to see it. I mean, the gun itself is kind of a work of art, so it's not really. I mean, if I want it, I wouldn't want to carry it every day. I would end up
Yeah.
putting it in a box, but I can't win it. So if I had that 1911, it would go in a box. So I can't.
I'm the guy. Everybody that watches this channel will be the first ones to know that it doesn't matter to me. Like, it would get carried. Like, if it's a good guy, it would get carried every day. I did a thing here not too long ago. I've got I have several hand carved custom knives. Well, this was done by my friend Elliot. I've got a knife I carry on a daily basis. It's like a $1,200 knife. I'm like, if you're gonna have it, use it. Like, I don't have any safe queens.
Yeah, I would definitely probably take it out and shoot it, but I don't think it would be a carry gun for me. That's just my personal preference, though. I'm not a huge 1911 guy. I like 1911s. They're amazing guns. I just think there's better carry options out there. So that's my personal opinion. So
the 1911 was my first sidearm in the military. That's how old I am. We still had 1911s when I came in. I actually didn't get an M9. I didn't get a Beretta until I was 5 years in. So I'm an old dude. I'm that old crusty, almost 50-year-old cat that still hangs out with the young kids at the knife shows and stuff.
Well, I'm pretty sure most of the Marines and regular sailors are still carrying the freaking Beretta right now. I know when I got out, it's not a bad one, but no, I mean, there's definitely better options. But they're going on 30 years old now, so it might be time to start thinking about cycling them out, because some of them are starting to it was when I got out in 2014, we were still using the Beretta. I don't know if it's still the active carry pistol.
It's the primary. It's the primary. They had come up with a couple others, but they never really got around to actually rolling them out.
In 2014, we were starting to get an issue where the slides were actually breaking in the middle. Not because they're bad guns, because they're 30 years old and they've had tens of thousands. Are you
talking about the actual slide, or are you talking about the actual slide, locking block that's underneath the barrel? Because those always break.
The actual slide itself, there would be hairline fractures or hairline cracks in them. Yeah. And over time, they would just, because you shoot 50, 60, 70,000 rounds through a gun over 30 years, it's, something's going to go wrong with it eventually. Yes. So that was a failure point that we were already starting to see in 2014. And those guns, I think, had been in service since like probably 92, 93 is when they started issuing those.
That's
maybe 91.
The Marines got them around 93 because we started seeing the rollout for them. That was when I got to my first command, was 93. And they had already talked about the 1911s going out of service. The Marines got them. And then we got the first batches we got overseas in Japan came from Marine units that had sent them back to Crane for, they had problems, or they'd had a broken firing pin. They got refurbished. And so they just started shipping those out to Navy units. Marines. So if you guys know, in the Navy Marine Corps weapons pipeline, the Marines always get the cool Gucci stuff first. And then the Navy gets the stuff that they've jacked up, and then they kind of repair it Crane, and then leave it to guys like me that are the weapons guys on the ship to really fix what's wrong with them, because they come to you, you're like, this thing doesn't cycle right. I got to figure out what's wrong with it. Where's my jeweler's stones and all that stuff. So
yeah. Oh man. Did you I think he might have hit his mouse button back, guys. He'll be right back.
Again, every time. Okay, so guys, I figured it out. If I bump this is that magic mouse, and it scrolls back to the page I was on before if I bump it the right way. And so it takes me back to it exits me out of the studio. I apologize, guys.
So I took care of it. I hosted the show for about 5 seconds while we waited for you.
So now I was going to ask you, because you do a lot of outdoor review, outdoor gear review. What is your favorite outdoor knife? This is a knife channel, so I figured we'd bring it around to some knives.
I actually don't have the knife on me because you guys can't see it, but I'm in basketball shorts. I'm just kind of lounging around the house.
So am I.
But I have actually my favorite outdoor knife right now is actually the knife that I'm carrying. It's a little Revo folder. I did a review on it. I've had that thing probably about a year and a half now. Carried it every single day. And I am a Hollywood Marine. I see that, Jeremy Russell.
That is my third. Okay, so this is my 5th episode of the podcast. Mm-hmm. And you are officially the 4th Marine I've had. as a guest. So you guys, that should tell you guys, like, I get along with my jarheads way better than I get along with fellow sailors. I spent a lot of time as Josh and I were talking about. I spent a lot of time as a dirt sailor. I was a sailor. I was a fleet of one. And I definitely get along better with a lot of the Marines, especially if they came from the 31st Mew, the dirty worst.
They're just on the 24th. So yeah,
the dirty worst. Those guys are just, they're criminals. They're felons. I swear to God, they were all supposed to be mortarmen. So
really good at spades, huh? Yeah, I did the 24th Mew, so it's similar to the 31st Mew. I think it's kind of like the same. We end up in the same crappy regions, like the Med and everything. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was gonna say the 24th Mew is like the Med East Coast. I was stationed overseas in Japan. 31st Mew was always in Okinawa, and like you wind up you get these guys, and I was on amphibious ships, and they come on board. And you wind up making friends with these Marines, and that's I didn't do well when I went to like the regular Navy. I'd been in the amphibious Navy for the first 6 years I was in the Navy, and so I was used to we dealt with each other like Marines deal with each other, and then I go to like a different command where these guys had never been on a Marine platform on an amphibious ship, and I was dealing with my sailors the way I would deal with sailors on amphibious ships, and it didn't fly real well. There was complaints. He's like, you can't slap that guy just because he didn't do what you told him. You can't smack him. What is wrong with you? And I was like, but he did it, right? He did what I told him. So that's your favorite knife right now. Do you how do you feel? I know how you're going to feel about it. The K-bar. Is the K-bar outdated?
I mean, can it really be outdated? I don't really think it can be outdated. It's just a good knife. It's a solid all-around knife. Even 100 years from now, the K-bar is going to be a solid knife design, in my opinion. And I'm probably biased, right? But I mean,
I was going to say, I think you're pretty biased because I had one and I couldn't use it for a day. I was like, it's not 1940. There's not a lot of trench warfare. I don't need this pig sticker. I need a knife that I can use in a utilitarian fashion, which kind of brings me to the next thing, because I was going to bring this up to you and I had forgotten about it. I was curious if you wanted me to send you this. This was my answer to the combat utility.
Really?
Yeah.
So versus the K-bar article. I think I've got a K-bar.
I mean, I don't think there's a lot of things that the K-bar would be able to do that this can't. I mean, it's definitely a much smaller platform, but it was my thing that I wanted a knife that I could use as a utility. But if I had to use it in combat, it's still got all the trappings combat. You can use it as a skull crusher. It's got the redacted tang, so you can actually smack things with it. It's got really good grip, multiple hand positions, so you can use it as a tool. But if you needed to, you've got all the little features you would want in, say, a combat knife.
I'd love to. How does it? Do you have any way to attach it to Molly? I didn't get to really.
Yeah, it actually has. So it's got all the. You can lash it, but it also has there's a clip that comes with it. You can use what are the dots micro. I can't remember the actual clip that came with it. This was the production. I made custom ones of these, and then I got this design picked up as production. But there's all kinds of ways to do it. You can carry, you can lash it to your gear. You can use.
I think that would probably be if K-bar were to ever update their design, I think the number one thing they would need to do is make the handle just a little bit shorter. Maybe bring the blade in just a little bit, and then they would definitely need to update that leather sheath. Because I carried the K-bar in Iraq on the Marine tactical vest. If anyone knows what that is, that thing was a piece of shit. But sorry,
here's the thing. I like the K-bar. I've got 2 K-bars. Actually 3. I have my father's. So I got one that was issued. I had a USN K-bar, and then I got one of the ones with the Iraqi Freedom. Iraqi Freedom, Continue Freedom, all those, the OEF, OIF labelings on it. And I got one for my dad. So I've got the one that I was issued, the one that I bought for me, and the one that I bought for him that came back to me when he passed away. But yeah, it is a great knife. It's just, I think it's a little bit big and unwieldy. The smaller one that they have, like the shorter one, is a lot better. And so is that, the Tonto version that they have. And I do have to say, K-bar does a really good job on the heat treated knives. They hold up really well.
They make great knives.
Yeah, they do.
Actually, speaking of marine knives, I'd have to turn my camera around, but I've actually got my NCO sword up on the wall. That's something that would the heat treat on that I don't think would stand up to much of anything, because I don't know if you've seen any of the marine NCO swords, but they're like you can feel the tang wobbling inside.
Yeah, they're not. Cold Steel actually made battle-ready versions.
I wish mine is from Cold Steel, but I don't think it's a battle.
Oh, then they must have dropped their quality off. But well, hey,
I don't know if it's a battle ready one. It's just I got that. I got it in like 2012 when I went to corporal's course. I was the honor graduate, so I got a free sword. Hey, there's a good question. Just Full30.
Yeah, I know, that's why I brought it up.
I actually just sent out an email today. So before we did our platform refurbishment, you're gonna have to bear with me. This is a multi-part answer. Before we did our platform refurb, we had actually launched our mobile app on the original technology into beta. And we had something like 800 to 1,000 beta testers using it on the old platform's technology. So you probably, I don't know when you came on Full30, Mike, but
it's been, I think it was almost this time. I'd have to go look, because I don't think it's quite been a year.
Mm-hmm. Because we relaunched this is the 3.0 version of the webpage that we're on now. So the original mobile app was built on the 2.0 technology. And what happened was one set of our devs finished the refurb, and then our mobile app dev, who is one of our full-time devs, he got everything done on the 2.0 mobile app, and it was ready to go into the stores. We were getting ready to submit it. And then 3.0 launched, and then he was looking at his app, and he was like, well, now my app doesn't function properly because all of the technology has changed on the back end. So we were originally built in, I believe, CSS and JavaScript. And now we're built in, don't quote me on this because I don't know for sure, but we're built now in React, CSS, and JavaScript. So we've got a more mobile-friendly website, if you will, because of the React technology. And we actually just restarted building the mobile app about 2 months ago. And I think we're probably about 2/3 of the way to getting it back into the beta testers' hands. So,
and that's one of those. The only problem is that it's so hard. And Jared and I were talking about this. So you guys don't know who Jared is. Jared Markle is the CEO?
Yeah, he is currently the CEO. I believe he is looking to move into our CMO or CFO position. Once Jeff gets out. Jeff Kirkham. I don't know if you guys know Jeff Kirkham. He's currently a full-time student again because he's a Renaissance man and decided to go back to college.
Yeah, that's what he was telling. I was trying to, because so if you guys don't know, Jeff Kirkham, the guy's brilliant. First of all, he's a great guy. He's written several books. He was one of the original founders of Black Rifle Coffee. He's one of the one of the founders of Full30, if not the founder.
No, he's one of the original investors in it.
One of the original investors.
Now he's the owner.
Now he's the owner. He also is part owner of. He's an investor in Ember Shirt Co., who Justin, you guys remember having on, and just generally a great guy. And we've also talked about. I have a knife design that is a minimalist, like hiker's knife, thing like that. I think I sent you a picture of it that time. The one that I had handmade, and it's got the wrapped handle, but it's got a groove cut down the center so you can wrap it in different ways. And we're talking about getting that done OEM fashion and offering it through the store on Full30 through Ready Man Group. So Jeff is also, I mean, he's the
founder of Ready Man.
He's the founder of Ready Man. I mean, the guy is he's awesome. And now he's going back to school. What is he going back for, nursing or?
Yeah, he went to get an RN.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He just one day just decided, I'm going to go get an RN. And then like 2 weeks later, he was, enrolled. So he's been doing that for about the last year. I think he's about halfway done with getting the RN done.
And I was going to say, this is the coolest part about so I know that Jeff probably hasn't heard, or Josh hasn't heard it, but you guys always hear about the trials and tribulations you have with, I have a video demonetized. Well, what was the reason? They don't give you a reason. And then you try to get a hold of somebody and you can't find out, and you get a bot answer that doesn't answer any of your questions. The fact is, when I have an issue, this is the coolest thing about Full30. When I have an issue, I can reach out to the CEO and hey, and one of the devs, I have a private chat that is me, the CEO, and one of the devs. And Jared was like, just set it up like this. Just keep us that way. I can see when you have problems. He's like, you don't have to put it in the producer's box. You can just go straight to me and the dev. And that way, if you like have an issue and I forget about it, like today I put up the thing, like I was trying to post something and it just would not post what I was trying to post in the producers section. And I mean, it's just, if you have a problem with the website, you can reach out. You have contact with the actual team. So I don't know what these guys are talking about. So there's a knife that came out. It's the 80-20.5, and it came out with some FRN scales. My buddy just got one, and he's like, dude, it just showed up today. He's like, it's definitely coming to you this week because, like, I guess the sharpening was just wrecked on it. And I'm a professional knife sharpener. I sharpen knives for knife companies. I make custom knives. I do custom sharpening. He's like, oh, I'm bringing it to your house. Like, it's coming over tomorrow. So I was up until, like I said, I told you, I was up until like 2 a.m. editing videos and sharpening knives for customers. So
I know how that goes. Sometimes when I'm writing, I end up writing way past my bedtime. So I definitely know how that goes. That's one of the things, steering it a little bit back to the original question about what you were just talking about the mobile app is. So I'm hoping we have the mobile app out ready to be beta tested probably in the next month or so. That's my hope. I can't guarantee that. And if my devs are watching this, they're probably sharpening their knives right now, getting ready to stab me for saying a time. But I would hope probably within the next month, we've got it ready for beta testing. And then back to what you were saying is that's one of the things that I like about Full30 is that we're able to help you guys directly. And there's, there isn't an algorithm that's just, or not an algorithm, there isn't a bot that's just going to pick up your video and decide, nope, you're always going to be able just to talk to us.
Yeah.
That's something we like with our creators is having and maintaining that relationship with our creators. And it's one of the nicer things about being a more boutique platform is that one, we're able to keep our team small and flexible, and two, we're able to maintain a relationship with you guys directly. Well,
I mean, there's other YouTube creators that you talk to, and like I've got almost 6,000, but 6,000 subscribers, but I've got friends that have a lot more, and that's one of the things you can't put your finger on any of it. Like they don't give you any, and that's a reason why creators stop creating. Mm-hmm. Like I can't do this, and I treat this like therapy, like the live feeds and now the podcast and creating content. It gives me an avenue to get rid of some of that crazy, us military guys, we're over caffeinated, our brains fire too fast, and just so much going on. And it gives me an avenue to get rid of some of that nervous, crazy energy that's going on in my head. Mm-hmm. And if I didn't have it, I'd be in a lot worse place right now. So we talked about some of the future plans. You're talking about the app. The only problem with guys is that the app it's Jared and I were talking about it. That's one of those, oh, hang on a second. We got to, Kirk. So what's my daily pew? We actually were talking about that earlier. I have several that I'll carry, and it just depends on the situation. I have a small 4-inch barreled 5-shot 45 caliber. That's a nice pocket gun. I'm a big guy, so I can get away with carrying a large gun. I can carry outside of the waistband. I can carry a 1911 with a shirt pulled over it, and I really don't pattern that much. Like I said, I'm 6'3", at this point 240 pounds. I'm like, I can carry pretty much anything I want. I got that the gun that I'm the pew I'm the most comfortable with is my SIG 2022 because it's the one I've had the longest, and at this point it's just like pointing my finger. I've got that natural point of aim. I know exactly where I'm going with that round. But I mean, I've put thousands and thousands of rounds through that gun. So that's what I carry most of the time. The 1911 is kind of special. It's a match grade. Everything's match grade. It was my dad's. And what we would do is we'd buy a gun for each other. Like I bought a gun and then he would upgrade and get all the match grade stuff. And we do it together. We did that with a 44 Magnum 629 Classic. And then, so I bought that gun and he paid for all the refurbishment stuff and the trigger job. Well, he bought this 1911 and I had bought all the stuff, and my dad passed away before we ever got to work on that project. So I brought it home and I did videos and stuff like on Instagram of me going through the process of taking that gun and building it up and turning it into what my dad and I had planned. Go away. No, go away. I got a crackhead neighbor. It's gonna. She comes in. She's trying to get ventilated. Is what she's trying to do. Coming in my garage while I'm doing shit. My garage door is all the way up because it's hot.
Oh, okay. You just got random people yelling at you from the streets.
She's the one. There's like Section 8 housing in this area. Some places have been like they've gotten rid of all of it at one house. And she's a crackhead, and she walks around and she tries to get people to give her money in their garages. And I keep telling her, like, go away. I'm not giving you shit. So,
stop doing crack and get a job.
Right.
There was another question in that super chat. I'm looking at, are we looking into live streams as we develop?
I was going to bring that up because I had like future plans for Full30, and that's one of the ones that I had asked. I've asked it in the producers thing on our on Slack, which is a lot like Discord or whatever you want to call it.
Yes. So we've actually been toying around with the idea of switching to Discord. We just haven't quite had the time to sit down and hash that out yet because we got to get all you guys over to Discord, and then it's a whole thing. So it's something we're thinking about. But live streams are something that we have already had. Well, our developer on the back end, he's actually already been able to run a few test live streams from his PC to the webpage successfully. Right now, it's a matter of doing it at scale, and that's something that we're working on and testing as well. So live streaming is actually one of the features that we have upcoming. We sent out, if you guys aren't on our email list and you're not hanging out with our newsletter every week, we send out a newsletter every week, but in today's newsletter, we actually had live streams on the bullet point of upcoming features that we're hoping to get out. Hopefully by the end of the year. That's always the objective. It's always nice to say hopefully by the end of the year, but we'll see how it goes with maintenance on the webpage because. Mike, as you know, as a creator, more than just about anyone other than us that, things happen on the back end and it needs attention for us to fix it.
Well, and you see all the stuff I put in like, hey guys, I was trying to play a video and you couldn't get you do it on, if you were doing it on a mobile device, some mobile devices, you couldn't get the video to play. And then some things you couldn't see comments and stuff down below or like and dislike. You just couldn't, and to everyone's credit, it got taken care of. Now, I would like to there's something, and I'll put it in the Slack. I'd like to have this platform that I use. I like this one about the best of any of the platforms I've seen, which is why I got it, to do the live feeds and things like that. I'd like to see this, because if I could do this, I could do Full30, I could do YouTube, and I could do Twitch all at once and hit all the platforms at the same time.
Is this a bit like Streamable? Because I know, or Restream, I think that was, Restream was the other one. Because we talked to, who was it that we were talking to? It might have been VSO Gun Channel. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but I was doing some interviews with creators because we were doing a little bit of podcast work on our own. And one of the creators was talking to us, and they just really wanted Restream for the exact same reason that you said. Because it allows them to stream to YouTube and to Twitch and to whatever they want to stream to all at once.
This one's limited. Like I can't stream to. I don't have an RSS, so I can't do like a podcast directly to Google and things like that. So I'm kind of limited, but I like this one because it offers you the most for the money. Actually, to tell you the truth, there's a lot of, as you can see, there's a lot of features. I can do so many things what I want, and I can bring stuff up on the screen, and it just doesn't cost as much. Right. So guys, I want to let you guys know, Josh already said he can't stay for the full 2 hours. Like you gotta bounce in about another 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, probably about another 20 minutes or so, because it's already 9:05 p.m. here in Salt Lake. So
yeah, and he gets grumpy because he's like me. He goes, no, he's not. I just don't go to bed.
It's because I didn't eat dinner yet, so I gotta.
You're hangry.
Once we get off of here, I'm gonna pop over and make myself some dinner, and then probably watch an episode of Vikings or something, and then I'm going
episode of Vikings.
Yeah, that's what I'm currently watching. I just started watching it, I think, over the weekend.
Okay, so this one I had saved for last because you do a lot of the gear review and stuff for the blog. Right now, what in your opinion is one of the best budget gear companies that's doing it right? Not just giving you budget gear, but doing it at a price. Like I like to talk about budget knives that do a good job, but like as far as like just outdoor gear in general, if you got a company that you can think of that just is I know I like some of the Vanguard gear stuff. They seem to do a pretty good job with a lot of their stuff. But what have you got that you think of when you think of a good budget gear company for just outdoor gear?
So if we're just talking in general outdoor gear, I don't think I could say just one budget company for in general outdoor gear. If we're talking about the overall, like if we're talking camping, if we're talking overlanding, if we're talking hunting, I don't know if I could narrow it down to one company. If I had to say in the tactical space, honestly, they get a lot of flack for it, but I don't think Condor does a terrible job, especially at the prices of things they put out. Condor is, they do decent stuff. I've owned a number of their plate carriers in the past. I've owned a couple of their their knockoff Eagle Industries chest rigs and stuff. I see that.
Yeah. you old bearded folk.
I'm only 33, but
I am 47.
So we're not that old.
I am that old.
Oh, sorry. 1 second. 1 second.
So the first time his dog was barking, I was like, is he at an office at a range? Because the dog barked and I thought it was somebody shooting a gun at a range when he first barked. I couldn't hear what it was because I wasn't using my headphones yet.
No, it's I'm in my home office right now, and that's just my dog being a dog.
Shot dog.
Hold on. Bjorn, come here.
Yeah, he's got a beautiful dog.
Come here. Oh, there he is. You guys can see him. He's
Bjorn.
He's a crazy Belgian Malbec.
He's like, all right, enough.
So yeah, I think Condor would be for if you're looking for like plate carriers or magazine pouches. I mean, if you're not running the stuff super duper hard, it'll last you a long time. And then when it comes time for you to get stuff that you actually want to maybe have to use, if everything went to hell next week or something, then I'd say probably go with the more reputable companies that are out there.
I did want to ask you because I watch Louder with Crowder, and he's sponsored by Spartan, and I've never had anything to deal with it. How is their gear, their plate carriers and stuff?
So I've used some AR500 stuff in the past, but I've never used any of like the Spartan carrier systems personally. Right now it's currently in a box in a walk-in closet over there, but I'm using a Ragnarok Systems something. I can't remember the exact name of it. It's
always either Greek or Viking. It's always something.
Always. If you're looking for a really good plate carrier, I forget the name of the company, but it's called the Slickster and the Advanced Slickster. That's a really good plate carrier. And currently, I think the people that are changing the game the most, like fundamentally changing the way we should be looking at body armor, there's a company called ShotStop. And what they've made their plates out of is a material called duridium, which is a proprietary thing that
sounds like something you'd find in a comic book.
Right, it's called duridium, and the guy that invented it also worked for I think it was Rubbermaid. Let me look. So he invented the stuff that like Rubbermaid products are made out of.
Hey Zach, hang a second, Josh. So Josh is only going to be around for about another like 15-20 minutes or so. I wanted to talk with you. If you want, I wanted to try and bring you in. I had a question for you about something. If you wanted, I could send you a link. So if you can text me your email address. Wait, no, you don't like showing your face on camera. Never mind. We'll figure it out some other time, Zach.
Just put a picture, put his logo up on his side.
I could probably do that. I don't know.
It won't matter when you put it on iTunes and stuff anyways. That's an audio format. So
yeah,
just have him talk and he doesn't have to show his face.
So he worked for Rubbermaid.
Right. And then somehow in there, he invented this super hard material called duridium. And the way that it works is actually on impact, it gets even harder. But here's the cool thing. So these plates, since they're not ceramic, they last a hell of a lot longer. Because with ceramic plates, you got, I think it's like a 5 or 6 year shelf life before the ceramic starts to wear out. And I mean, if you know just as well as I do, you drop ceramic plates on the ground, you can break them, like outright crack them in the center, and you'll like hear them folding, and then there's no ballistic protection whatsoever.
None.
It's to the point of where if you had any light cracking in your plates at all in Iraq or Afghanistan, you'd have to go get them replaced immediately because they wouldn't let you go outside the wire. Yeah. But with the duridium stuff, it's as hard as a steel plate. It's as durable as a steel plate. Like you can throw it, nothing's going to happen to it. But unlike and better than the ceramic plates is it's far cheaper. So their plates, their level 4 plates, like with the swimmer's cut and like all the cool guy stuff, like the maximum price, I think it's like $450.
That's not bad. I'm old enough. I remember when it was so much more expensive. If you were looking to get body armor,
yeah, if you're getting
crazy expensive.
If you're getting level 4 rated ceramic plates, you're looking at $800 to $1,000 a plate, depending on the company. So I mean, there's some companies out there that get their price down real well, like Hesco. Hesco's prices are pretty low for ceramic plates, but Shot Stop sent me a set of their plates, and I wore them out to the range for a little bit, and then they said they were super durable, so I tried to break them, and I couldn't. Threw them in the back of my truck, throwing them off my truck, and nothing happened to them. So those plates, I think those guys are fundamentally changing the game in that world.
I'm gonna have to look into it because you're talking about it getting harder with impact. It almost sounds like because I love science. It sounds like a non-Newtonian kind of thing, like how like the cornstarch, like oobleck, it's soft, but if you impact it, it gets hard.
Mm-hmm. I think it is kind of like that, but I don't know the science of it. That's just when I was researching the product, because they sent it to me and I went and I tested it. And then I was like, okay, well, I need to put, something substantive about the actual technology behind their stuff. So I went on their webpage and I researched it. And that was one of the things that sticks out in my brain, was that it had said something like that on their webpage. And the stuff
Shopcat just showed up.
Oh yeah.
Come here, buddy. Oh, you big fat shit. Come here. So you haven't got to meet Shopcat yet. Shopcat adopted us. He's actually just some neighborhood cat that just decided that he likes to hang out in my garage and wants to be up in my lap all the time. And he's a big sweetheart.
I think if I had to, and then I'm going to plug my buddy's company real quick, because if you're in the market for a ballistic helmet, there's a company called Hardhead Veterans that you should check out. That's a veteran-owned company owned by a former Marine buddy of mine. His name is Kit, and they have the cheapest price on ballistic helmets anywhere. I think it's $400. I think they had to raise the prices, but I think it's still sub $500 shipped for one of their helmets, and those are 3A rated, just like any of the fancy Team Wendy helmets you see. Those are only 3A helmets still.
Yeah,
and I think a Team Wendy helmet's like what, $1,400, $1,500.
I haven't looked. Shopcat. Shopcat's a gold mine. So I typically, since we got like 15 minutes left, I typically have all the military guys that are on the channel. I like to have them tell me a story, like a funny story about something that happened when they were downrange or something, because that's where all the funny stuff always, like that's because your sense of humor really has to come out when you're downrange, because you got nothing else. Embrace the suck. So you just got to live with a sense of humor. So it doesn't have to be a downrange story. Just tell me let's get a funny story of something that happened while you were active.
So my 21st birthday was spent on post in Afghanistan. We were in an area called the Farah province, which is north and west of Helmand. We were there in 2009, but we were there about 6 months prior to Obama's surge, and our mission was to.
That was the second surge. Remember, I was telling you, I did the up armor for that first surge that happened years before that.
So right before the 2009 surge, they sent us in on a special purpose MAGTAF. Special Purpose Marine Air Ground Task Force. So it was one infantry unit and then an air wing unit, basically. That's the MAGTAF. And then all of the logistics to support those two things, obviously. So probably like 5,000 guys or something. But they sent us in there, and we got this mission of clearing a road called Route 515. And the post I was on was right over top of that road. And they would put the IEDs in, like just right outside of our visual range. But if you had thermals, you could see them. Yeah. So, obviously I'm very attentive to this because we're hitting IEDs every day. So I'm looking for these people putting in the IEDs, and I don't know and right behind me in the combat outpost is our gym, where guys are working out. So like, I'm not thinking anything, but everyone knows it's my 21st birthday and I'm getting to spend it on freaking posts in Afghanistan looking for people putting in IEDs.
I don't know what happened. My daughter might have just fallen. My wife was like, "Is that you?" And I was like, "I didn't do anything."
Okay.
My daughter probably knocked her. My daughter does school in her room. She probably knocked her chair over.
Oh, okay. So I'm getting off of post, and when I'm coming off of post, I just get jumped. I get absolutely jumped by like 4 people, and they just beat the crap out of me. Because apparently it's a thing on your birthday, you just get beat up. And I don't know. I don't know who started that tradition when. Maybe it was your generation.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was generations before. I got the crap beat out of me on my birthday.
Yeah.
The day before we crossed the line, before we crossed the equator, they shaved my head, they shaved my eyebrows, they shaved my entire body. They held me down. There was Marines that helped them, and the areas that they couldn't shave, they burned off with a Bic lighter.
Yes, that was my 21st birthday in Afghanistan. I got the absolute shit kicked out of me, and then they gave me a MRE cake made out of vanilla pound cake with a chocolate peanut butter pudding. So you can make, pro tip, if you ever have an MRE, you can make chocolate peanut butter pudding with a cocoa powder pack, a peanut butter pack, the little Splenda packs that come in them. You pour it all into the you can pour it into like the beverage bag.
Yeah.
Just pour it into the pound cake bag or whatever you're going to put it on. And then you pour in a little bit of water with that, just a pinch of salt, and you just stir it up until it gets real milky. And then you can take that out and you can spread it on the pound cake. So,
apparently figured out what the noise was. My window fan fell out and it spilled a big glass of water all over everything on my bedstand.
Oh, that's fun. I hope there wasn't like anything important on there.
If there's anything important, it comes downstairs with me. We had guys that did the Splenda. They would make the Splenda pudding, and it wasn't so much because it tasted good. It was just because they couldn't get the white gum, and they're like, "Bro, if you eat a bunch of Splenda, it'll make you shit."
Allegedly.
No, it'll work. So I had one brought. Is that a turtle human sitting behind me, Michael Morgan? No. I decided that since I have the original hat from the channel and the original sweatshirt that's in the intro, I would put them on the back of the couch during the thing. And we just got another super chat. So, guys, I appreciate you guys donating to the channel because that's great because you guys do know, like I said, this is the only income I got right now until I can figure out what's going on with this whole autoimmune disorder and the whole coof pandemic. So, all right, Josh. Well, I appreciate you coming. If you want to stick around, unless there's something else you wanted to touch on before you left, any of the other stuff that's up and coming, or any of the other projects you're working on.
Let me peek over here just real quick so I can pull up our list of upcoming features, so everyone here is in the know. So sometimes they like to sneak stuff in to make sure I'm actually editing and not just like copy and pasting. In the middle of this giant bullet list of features, our dev put the feature Tig Bitty Goth Mommies. It's like, I saw that, right? And he put it right above live streaming. So I'm like, I wonder what he's really thinking about.
Tim, yes, I'll run this till 9:30. We're going to do the podcast. I might bring Zach on. I want to talk to Zach about a couple things. So, but yeah, definitely I'll keep it running. So, I definitely, and you can let Jared know as well. I'd like to try and have, I know Jared's busy, but I'd like to have Jared come on so that we can talk about his channel. I'm going to send him a message. Yeah. Student of the Gun. So so if you guys don't know, I follow Student of the Gun.
If you can't get Jared, I bet we can get you Paul.
I was going to say, if not, we could probably get his dad. Paul's Professor Markle, if you guys don't know, Student of the Gun, Professor Markle. And it's a great channel. And the thing was, I remember when it was on YouTube and then came over to Full30. And I didn't know it even still existed. I followed him on there. And then I once I found out, I was like, wait, Markle, that sounds, and I started following it again once I got my Full30. Because I didn't follow Full30 until I got my channel.
Yeah, they do more of like a radio format now. So kind of like this, like a long form 2-hour radio show, and then they actually do 2. So Paul does one with his son Zach called The Morning Mindset. and then he does Student of the Gun Radio with Jared.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of what I'm doing with this, but mine's going to be obviously mine's more knife centric. It's not that I'm not into the firearms community or anything. It's just truly I became a knife maker. My whole business is centered around knives, and I've always had a passion. I mean, my dad and I always hunted and things like that, but for me, firearms was just always something we had on the farm. We used them for hunting and things like that. It wasn't so much the big hobby like other people were. My dad, it kind of was. But for me, I always got into the knives, and then I got interested in the making of knives. And then I took bladed martial arts. When I was in Japan, I took the sword arts and stuff like that. Gosh, guys, thank you very much. I was going to get a bell, but I had another YouTuber tell me that the thermos actually is more unique. Thank you, Walt.
I thought that was a bell.
No, it's a thermos.
I thought that was like a long bell that you had just like fashioned or something.
It's a thermos that lost its seal and nothing stays cold in it. And I was going to throw it away, but it was out here the first time I started doing it. And I was whacking it with something, and they were like, "Nah, keep that." But no, so I've always been more into the knives. And like I said, I took the bladed sword arts in Japan. I took kenjutsu and stuff like that. So it was always, I just kind of gravitated towards that. And it was kind of a cool thing that my dad would buy me firearms and I would buy him firearms, but I also bought him knives and I made stuff for him and things like that. So
now, this is probably a silly question, but did you ever watch the show Forged in Fire?
Yeah, that's the dumbest and hardest way possible to make a knife. And I say that because there's so many issues. Like they always make this elaborate Damascus and there's and well, the problem too is that like it's an unknown whether you got a good forge weld, it's an unknown whether you got a good heat treat and all those things. I'm like, well, if you want to do it, why not remove the variables? I get it that they're showing their art, but like we progressed to the point where like I don't do any forging. Mm-hmm. I take a piece of steel, I heat treat it to the hardness I want it, I temper it, and then I grind it. I just do stock removal. And I did a bunch where I didn't actually even cut out the blanks. I had them water jetted out. Now you still have to dimension everything and do the work to make all your fittings and all that stuff. But I just personally feel that like the modern steels are a lot more reliable than an unknown heat treat on a steel that you mangled together and beat together and it may or may not hold, Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's kind of cool because it gets to show like those guys that really are exhibiting like how like learning their art and showing what their craft and all that stuff. I'm just more of a functional kind of knife maker as opposed to an artsy kind of thing.
Well, I bring it up because Jared and I have a mutual friend who is actually a Forged in Fire champion that might be interested in popping on here and talking with you about knives. His name's Nate. He goes by like Nate the Blade Maker on Instagram. So,
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so I'll see if I can link him up with you this week. Maybe you guys can get him on because he's making all kinds of crazy knives. He just they made something like 100 knives for Student of the Gun.
Wow.
And just like in like a couple of days. But they're all like hand forged little things.
I'm not that motivated. I make knives as a hobby and I just kind of came across like this, even that one this isn't a custom. I came up with a design and then I had it made production style. Mm-hmm. So this is a production version of my custom, but I don't know if you know Joe Maynard. Joe was an Army helo pilot. He was a warrant, and then he got out and he actually does the same thing. And he has a mobile forge. He drives around the country and goes to shows and shows it off. And Joe's a great dude. He's hilarious. And he tells stories on his Instagram channel. Like he talks about the time that he flew Robin Williams around Iraq to all the different USO shows that he was doing in Iraq and Kuwait and Afghanistan. And he basically, like, he was his chauffeur. So he was basically, all right, I'm going to fly you here, and then I'm going to go hang out. And then when you're done, we're in the helicopter and fly to the next base and stuff. So I've got a handful of people that I want to get on the show and stuff like that. So, but like I said, I appreciate it. I know that I know it's getting late where you're at. You haven't eaten, so I appreciate you taking the time. And guys, if you haven't went to full30.com, there's a lot of stuff. There's a store, there's merch, all kinds of stuff. That's available there. And then I started reading some of the blogs. I was reading your one about that semi-automatic shotgun, the bullpup one.
Oh yeah, that was we were doing a thing with Vista Outdoors probably 2 weeks ago now,
Yeah.
And Paul Markle had that from SRS Imports. And it was in the back of my truck. I brought it from Jared's house out to Paul's house in Wyoming. I transported it for him. And then we get there and it's still in the back of my truck. Paul never took it out. And, we're on a gnarly clay pigeon range in the middle of like this range is so big that they have a 1.5 mile target on one side of the range. Like you can shoot out to 1.5 miles like easily, no problem. And then on the other side, they've got like a 50-yard range for like doing close-in stuff. You can go all the way up to 0. And then right off to the left of that, they have a clay pigeon range with like 6 throwers at a bunch of different ranges. Like, well, I mean, I can't just have this shotgun in my truck and not go shoot clays out here like that.
I've got to find it, and I'll see if I can find it. I'll send you a link to it. I got a friend that he's one of the lead trainers for the Tucson Police Department, and all he does is weapons training. I mean, they're on a 50-yard range, and he's got a Glock 9mm, and he goes like this, boom, think. And he goes, there you go, and walks. That was the whole post. He goes, there you go. And I was like, that was awesome. He goes, do you know how many takes that took he's like, we went through a lot of ammo trying to get that. So, all right, Josh, I will let you go. I'm going to get these guys. I'll keep these guys entertained for another hour. And then I'm going to clean up that big mess, that glass of water. It was on my bedstand that box fan spilled when it fell out of the window. So, I appreciate it. I'll go ahead and take you out. And, guys, go to Full30 and just at least go read the blog stuff, because you don't even have to sign in. There's a lot of stuff you can just read, just go into the homepage. So thank you very much, sir. And I will talk to you later.
Take it easy, guys.
So what do you guys want to talk about? This can't be nothing sexual. And no, I won't take my pants off, because you guys don't even know if I'm wearing any. Josh is a good guy. That was the first today was the first I'd actually gotten to talk to Josh. So, hey, and Zach, I think if you want, what I think we should do is I think we should just basically, there you go. Thanks for having me, guys. It was great to have a chance to talk to you all. So, I actually think that I would just rather have you on for an entire episode. So, I don't know what you won. What did you win? So everybody's saying Josh won something. What did Josh win? So I know. So what was this? We paid to keep you on? Well, I don't know. Oh, okay. So I did want to touch on this. All right, guys. So I have something planned, and don't hold me to a date, because I'll tell you why I'm really nervous about this. I did this once back in, I want to say 2019. I did it on a bet. It is the Pocky One Chip Challenge. Now, I did it back in 2018 or 19 when it was just ghost chili and habanero or something. I forget what it was. It was just ghost chili powder on. But this is the new one. This is the 2021 edition. And it's Carolina Reaper and Scorpion Pepper. So now here's the deal. I am going to I don't want to do this. I'm debating. I'm debating doing this as a fundraiser for my daughter's figure skating on here. And it would, we'd start out and I'm not doing it now. I got to get it all set up, and I got to kind of get it out and publicize so enough people see it. But I'm going to do it. And I want my daughter to sit here so she knows, I've already done it once, Kurt, I've already done one once, and I've eaten the ghost chili and all that. And I used to do that. Like my buddy and I would take turns eating the spiciest pepper in the world. And I got news for you. The chips, while they're horrible, are nowhere near as bad as eating the actual pepper. But what I was going to say is, I'm not saying, we have to reach a certain point and then you guys would have to pay me. We've got to hit this level before I do it. But what I'm saying is I'm going to do it. But what we have to do is we're going to set it. Jesus Christ. Yeah. But what I'm thinking is I'll do it, and I'm going to let everybody come in and start dropping super chats and stuff, and I'm going to eat the pepper. Now, I do want to say I want my daughter to be here when I do it because I want her to see what I'm willing to do for her. So that's something that, like, I haven't decided how we're doing it. And so they use it. Those of you that are on YouTube, what I'm talking about is my daughter. I know not everybody that listens to this, not on YouTube, but on Apple Podcasts. My daughter is a figure skater. She's an international level figure skater. She's competed overseas and stuff like that. And it's an expensive sport. So not e-begging. I'm just saying I'm going to do it as a fundraiser. So if you are interested in that, you may want to follow my YouTube channel and figure out when I'm doing it. Now, I did post that up on Instagram. I was probably going to do it. And I'm thinking I'm probably going to do it. God, I can't believe I'm thinking about doing this again. But Mark Ridgewell, who's on here a lot, he's like, I have a sneaking suspicion that this is going to lead to yet another butthole in the knife community begging for forgiveness. And I was like, well played, sir. Fucking well played. So, yeah, we'll get that figured out, and we're going to try and publicize it and stuff like that. But yes, I think I'm going to eat the Pocky One Chip Challenge. Now, the reason I'm so nervous about it is yesterday I ate 2 of those snack pepperonis, like the Jack Link's snack pepperonis. I still have heartburn. I'm getting old. I still like spicy stuff, but I mean, that's ridiculous. And then, like everyone said, that has to come out. Wait. Okay, so I missed it. What was it again? From PSA. I don't know. 2A Dave. Oh, you won. Oh, nice. So, I'll tell you guys, like, if you guys are interested in the full30.com, that is some of the nicest group of guys. They've been really, really helpful, trying to figure out the platform and all that stuff, and how to upload. And the fact that the CEO was like, oh, hang on a second, let me give you a call. I'll walk you through it. And I'm like, nice. If I remember right, like, I was uncomfortable for half an hour. If that, like, the first 15 minutes was the worst. And then after that, it was, it tapered off. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not doing that whole 5 minute. I'm gonna eat it, and I'll put up with it for a minute or so, and then I'm gonna start drinking half and half. And the big mistake everybody makes is like, oh, I'm drinking milk, but they're drinking like skim milk. It's the fat content in the milk that you drink that's going to help. If you're drinking skim milk, you get a little relief. You're drinking 2% milk, it's a little better. Drinking whole milk, it helps a lot. If you drink heavy cream or half and half, that's money. That's money. The oils of the capsaicin and the chemicals bond to the fat. So Dave just won a Best Tack Fango from Atlantic Knife this weekend. He just found out tonight. That's the other thing. I'm gonna have ice cream. Now, the question I have, to tell you guys the truth, I have 2 of these. I'm willing to send this to one of you, and we eat it together on the podcast. Now, I thought about doing it Monday the 30th. Is there we go again. I lost my thing. Monday the 30th is my birthday, and I thought I would do it on my birthday. I don't think I really want to. I already asked Jared. Jared's like, no, absolutely not. And apparently Jared does not handle spicy stuff at all. So, Jeremy, you're leaving? No, Jared said he will not do it. Come on, Jeremy. I'm telling you, he has already stated he will not do it. So, and like, I know, like, some of you guys were talking about this. This is, I wanted to kind of do this because if you watch my intro for all my videos, you see that I have had that sweatshirt since I started the channel, and I've kept it. Oh, you're out of the challenge. Oh, okay. I thought you were leaving. That's it. Let's get Zach to do it. Zach, you want to do the Pocky One Chip Challenge? You have to put your face in the video, though. It'd be Zach's first front-facing video. What do you think, Zach? I would be willing to send it to one of you and put you in the podcast to do it. So I just got to figure out when I'm going to do it. Fuck, I don't even want to do it. I remember it was pretty miserable. Like, it definitely wasn't as bad. The other reason I don't want to do it on a Monday because I don't want to suffer for the entire week. The flip side is I don't want to do it on a Friday and then have to suffer through the weekend when I can actually do stuff with my daughter. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't as bad as eating the Nick. I don't think Nick would do it. Nick won't show his face on camera, and that's the whole thing. Like, I want to see someone suffering with me, and I don't think I could convince Nick to do it in his Batman mask. I don't know. You should do a regular podcast with Jerry. Well, you know what? That might be something we do. And like I said, I don't know if I want to continue to do this 3 days a week. What I wanted to do was I wanted to get it started. But I kind of like doing it 3 days a week because, I mean, I really got nothing else going on right now. So I can do it right now. But if things change, if I'm able to go back to work and things like that, I think that we would wind up turning it into like maybe 1 or 2 days a week. But right now, I can't go back to work because of my autoimmune disorder and the whole the step up in cases and the Delta variant being much more communicable. Even if I am fully vaxxed, I still can't. So, you know, this is what I got right now. So why not just keep doing it this way? But there may be a day where we're like, yeah, we're only doing the podcast once a week. But I enjoy this. Like, I really do enjoy it. The only problem I have is, are we going to be able to continue to have guests on board? The folks that are listening on Apple Podcasts, this is going to be weird for you because you can't see any of the comments that are going on right now. So let's see. Zach, do you want to come on? Zach, are you still here? Do you want to come on? I can shoot you an invite if you want. And we can talk about, I had a question or two for you about Benchmade and things like that. Nico already said he wouldn't do it. Jeremy Russell says, bring Nico down and have him eat it with you. And basically he told me that I could go do something until my butthole was sucking buttermilk. So I can, where are we at here? I would ask, you know what? I would ask Rich over at Metal Complex if he wanted to do it. That would be fun. Awesome line on the bottom of the screen. Yes. The last incident in Chicago put us at 50 for the year. And I'm just kind of tired of hearing everything in the news, but I don't ever hear about these people that are out there risking their lives. I know there's a lot of people that don't agree with that. My father was a police officer. There are some bad actors, but the fact is the majority of people that decide to be police officers are not. And we're going to leave it at that. We're not going to throw a bunch of that stuff in the comments section, but how about my sister? She does not want to be on a live feed, and my sister does not have a webcam. Okay, so you guys, just to put this in perspective for you guys, my sister and where they live in Ohio, you don't have cell phone signal. What was this? Jared, Zach just sent me okay. Zach, I'm going to bring Zach on, and Zach can set his stuff up because I had a couple questions for him, and that'll be fun. We'll get Zach in here. You guys give me just a second. But like I said, we're not gonna invite. Is it a Gmail? Cool, it's a Gmail. I'll be right back, guys. I'm trying to get this set up, so we're gonna bring Zach in. I thought I had emailed you before, but apparently I didn't. At Gmail. We're going to bring Zach in. All right, I'm sending Zach the message right now. Zach. Okay. And there we go. So I sent that. As soon as Zach pops up, we'll see. So no, I mean, I get it. I don't want it to turn into one of those things where people start dogpiling and I get nasty messages from people. Ask Super Steel if he is Super Steel Steve. Here's the thing. Steve and I are like my father and I were for a lot of years. I think that Steve and I are better the further apart we are. Like, I mean, I enjoy watching. I've watched the last few of Steve's videos and I do enjoy them. And I do understand that, like, when I had my issues with Steve, I was it was not a Steve thing. It was more of a me thing. I had some PTSD that I hadn't addressed fully. And I was not I was in no way, shape or form willing to take any criticism. And I think I took everything too personally at that time. But I mean, I had a lot of bad stuff that was going on in the comment section of my videos and stuff at the time. And I mean, I still do, but I kind of reconciled myself with that's one of the things that just happens, and I just have to kind of ignore it. I have to do this, guys. This love seat is almost 20 years old, and there's not much cushioning left in it. That's why there's a pillow there, so that when we get to a point where it's hurting my butt, there's no springs. So I have a piece of plywood underneath the cushions, and the cushions don't have much cushion anymore. So I have a pillow that I sit on when it gets to this point. So let me see here where to put my phone. Now I'm all confused and I don't remember what I was talking about. I can't find my phone. So, but no, like I said, Steve is, I'm wearing track shorts, or not track shorts, basketball shorts. So Steve and I are like, we're not necessarily oil and water. We're just like, I don't know. I mean, I think we can just enjoy watching each other's videos and stuff. Hey, Zach's here. How'd I know there was going to be so many Benchmades out?
Yo, yo, yo.
So, Zach, I wanted to ask you, and I know that I know you might not want to answer, because I watched your thing about Slicey, and if you don't want to answer, that's fine. But I was like, the thing that I took from it was like, I don't know how much I trust his going forward and making amends to the community. And I wanted to kind of ask you, I'm not trying to sabotage you or snipe you from a distance. I was just curious.
Yeah, man, no, that's a good question. It's valid. I touched a little bit on it on my live stream yesterday. And basically it was one of those things where, you know, he's reached out to me. He's like, hey, here's the person to talk to at the magazine.
And that's what I wanted to get at, because there was no mention of that in the note that he sent you.
Yeah. And this is post my video. And when he sent me the package, I don't think he knew I was going to make a video.
Okay.
It's kind of all, just shaken out. And I honestly, a year ago, I kind of wrote this off. I was just like, my error for not, firming things up payment wise. And I'm a pretty nice guy. So I just learned my lesson.
Yeah, you're an incredibly nice guy. Guys, I have to say that, like, Zach, honestly, probably one of the nicest guys in the knife community. And it's kind of cool because I didn't even know of your channel really until I met you. What was it? Blade Show West in Portland?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Blade Show West. Yeah.
That's right. Are you going to Blade Show West this year?
I am.
So am I. I'll be at the artisan table.
Yeah, buddy. I'll be there. I'll show up. Yeah.
So I wanted to talk to you about, because you know that, like, I'm not a big fan of Benchmade. I know that you know that.
You want me to get these off the table then?
No. No, actually, because the fact is, like, if you were to look though, like, I used to be a big fan of Benchmade, but
yeah.
Okay, I love the 940. Like, that is like, if I was going to ever buy a bench, and I didn't buy this one because I couldn't justify the price.
Right.
Judging by their history of their quality recently. But if I was going to have a Benchmade, it'd be a 940. Why is it? Because I know that you love the 940. What about the 940 is it for you that you love? Because like I said, I love the 940 as well.
Yeah, so I actually got my first 940 like 21 years ago.
Wow.
I won it on a fundraiser. It was a fundraiser for a local sheriff's office that had a sergeant who got shot in the line of duty. And so they were doing just, kind of raffle drawing ticket fundraiser thing. And I was like, yeah, I'll put some in. And, I was out helping with some other stuff at the thing. And, all of a sudden my buddy's like, dude, you just won. He's like, I think you just won a Benchmade. I'm like, sweet. And, that long ago, it was, they didn't, they had notoriety, but, it wasn't a huge crazy thing. And then I got it and it was like 8 of 1,000,
Yeah.
Well,
but so 21 years ago would be about that time frame where I'm talking about that. Like I was in the military, and if you had when you think of a top end knife, you were thinking of a Benchmade. And as much as you might love it these days, I really can see, being older, I can see the definite decline, having seen those knives from so many years ago.
Yeah, and I think you get some of that on certain models,
Yeah.
And that's kind of a bummer. And I know they did go through a phase where, QC was a huge issue.
Yeah.
You're not going to hide it. I mean, as much of a fan of Benchmade that I am, and, investor, I guess you could say, it's one of those things where, you can't, you pick up a knife and you're like, somebody check this.
Yeah.
And that was a few years ago. And then here in the last couple of years, they've really stepped it up to try to work on that. And I think now they're trying to do some more listening.
Yeah, I would hope so, because do you know how hard it was for me to franken this all together to get the bench? I heard you talking about it, like when you were talking about what are the things that you saw. I know you saw my comment about things that you look for in knife companies. Because that's a company I love and have always loved that have had quality control issues. Is Cold Steel, but that would be my big thing. Like if they would listen to their customers, I know there are so many people that would want to be able to customize their 940. Like I don't like the green and purple. I like the black, and I don't like the carbon fiber. I want the aluminum, but I also want an S90.
You know what they're up against, right? I mean, there's your S90, on the carbon fiber one, but you know what they're up against, right?
No, what's up?
They put that in the customizer or the custom knife shop. They are up against all the limited editions and exclusive 940s they've done over the years. No, I'm just saying, because that's when you get your collectors. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, be like, you can't put that in there, or this, this type or whatever, because, right? Then it's going to be
those custom runs are marked. I mean, these wouldn't be. It's not like they're going to be a limited edition and things like that. They would just simply be
like for example, the bug out. They did the gold class version, right?
What's just dumb?
Inlay, carbon fiber, Damascene steel blade. Now you could go on today, order your own, bug out, Damascene steel blades, different pattern, and carbon fiber scales. Just doesn't have the C-Tech. So you can basically build your own gold class bug out right now.
So
and it's cheaper than the gold class was.
So Spitfire. So what you're saying is you want a Benchmade 942, not a 940. No, I want the aluminum and the S90V. If I remember right, the 942 was G10 or carbon fiber. I don't remember.
You mean the 940-2?
Yeah.
940-2 was G10, black G10.
Yeah, so I don't like the G. I want the aluminum, and I want S90.
So similar to this,
Shopcat decided he's got to come over and get in my lap now, I think.
But this is the REI exclusive.
I like that. I actually like that.
Green G10, purple barrel spacers. Which is kind of cool, and you get, but it's still S30V.
Yeah, and I've just never been a fan of S30V. But
that's what I've been getting some of my customs in that I've ordered. I've got the S90V going on a lot of the blades, and I wasn't going to do coated on my Griptilian, but then all my other black and blue combos are coated just like this one, and I'm like, all right, I got to do it.
Okay, so I like the Crooked River. Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Yeah, Shopcat hopped up. and decided he's going to join us. You're such a big fat shit. You take up the whole couch. There. Is that better?
And that's the weird part. Like, I can't see the chat right now.
Oh, you can't see the chat?
No, there we go. I can pull up the chat now. I can actually pull it up and look at it now. Okay.
There you go. So yeah, you should be. I don't think you can scroll through it, but like Spitfire was asking black aluminum. Mine's aluminum. I ceramic coated mine.
Oh.
And now have walked. I've worn most of it off because this knife actually gets a lot of pocket time. As much as I may complain about Benchmade, I actually do like this knife. And I like the Crooked River, cool. And that mini Crooked River that you've got. That's a nice looking knife.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me. Like, you know, a mini Crooked River is like a full size regular, 3.5-inch blade knife. For me. Now, granted, you get, there's other people that have bigger hands or like bigger knives, and the full size is going to be incredible for them.
Russ Cagle says, "Hi Zach, hi Mike."
What's up, Russ?
So. Look, I moved the mouse for you, and I moved the mouse where you could sit. Now you want me to move it so you can climb up in my lap. You're not even our cat.
Not even your cat?
No, it's the neighbor's cat. He just adopted us.
Well, that was friendly of him. Now, did you see? I just posted this up. You probably didn't see it because I think you're live. This is gonna be a sneak peek for everybody that's in here. I think a couple people have already watched it and made a comment. But I put those titanium scales from Titanium on my bug out.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So now before
Spitfire. What's up, Spitfire?
Yeah, he actually helped me move into this house.
Nice. Way to go, man. That's awesome. Yeah,
I hate this angle. You can see my boobs real well.
Oh, it's okay. I hide mine. But this is black linen Micarta from Flytanium.
Okay.
Same crossfade cuts, gives you really good access to the axis bar, but just gorgeous overall. And these are $45.
I don't dislike those. The problem I've had, I've never had a customer that sent me a set of Flytanium scales that I didn't have to rework and fix to put on a knife.
These will be different.
You think so?
Honestly, this whole new round, they've done a lot of extra QC on their products because
they needed to, because I'm not gonna lie to you, if the problem we're gonna run into is if Cerberus Knives, my buddy Chris, starts making scales for Benchmades, Flytanium's gonna have their work cut out for him, because he started making scales for Spyderco's, and Chris is a great guy, but he had the patience that he got a bunch of Aiden, I'll answer that in a minute. He got a bunch of Spyderco's of the same model, and he just brought them in. And what he did was he figured the plus minus on what it takes to make them fit pretty much all of them. And so he hasn't had any. I think he's had like 2 sets get returned because the screw holes were a little bit off. So he's doing it right. Like he took the time and was meticulous and figured out the plus minus on where he needed to mill out the size of those holes so the hardware would fit and hit those holes every time.
And I have sets of the original G10 that Flytanium put out, and it's okay. But the way they're doing the milling on these now, and then I just picked up the mini Osborne JG10 ones from them too. And then the titanium ones are crazy awesome. I saw 2A Dave said he wants the titanium ones.
Yeah.
Those are amazing.
See, I never had any of the G10 or the Micarta ones. What I always had would come in were the titanium ones. And to tell you the truth, they were always the titanium ones for Spyderco's, the issues we had.
Oh, okay.
Now I don't remember. I don't think I did too many Benchmades, but I would have customers that were like, "Look, I can't get this to fit." And since, I had access to Elliot's shop up at Fair and Forge, I could just make it happen. If I couldn't do it there, I just couldn't do it. I was like,
now, do you think that was like 100% Flytanium's issue?
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely like the cutout. I had some that came in with for the compression lock, and like the cutout area for the compression lock just wasn't right. I had a couple of them I had to send back. I was like, you need to get a hold of Flytanium and get your money back. Yeah. Because you would try to put it in, and the cutout for the compression lock. It just wasn't right, and you just could not get it on. And if you did get it on, then the lock wouldn't work. Like it would stick, and you had you had to have a popsicle stick to stuff in to pop it one way or the other. So
I'm seriously loving this new round, this new crossfade design. I'm seriously, they nailed it with the titanium ones. Tritium,
tritium. Get you some night scales. Jim Skelton had some knife that had tritium tubes in the scales, and I don't remember what it was. I know that
like
flashlight,
Glow Rhino.
Yeah,
Glow Rhino, or somebody was making scales where it had a little tube in there.
Yeah,
like
well, Glow Rhino.
Tube.
Elliot was talking with Glow Rhino about trying to get stuff from them so he could put it in knives as well. And just mill it in and then get it in the spot and like epoxy it in, or, use a clear epoxy resin. And I love the idea, but the fact is the tritium tubes are so expensive that it makes it, like just for a novelty, it makes it, I mean, you guys know me, I'm function. I'm all function. I don't give a crap at a form. Like it's all function.
Here, watch this on the camera real quick. Talking about glow stuff.
Oh, that's pretty nifty.
That's the Blade HQ glow in the dark matte.
I like that. So I wanted to ask you, the big thing I really wanted to ask you is, so can you show me the comparison between the mini 940 and the full size?
Ooh.
I know you're doing the giveaway on that.
Do I have one here? I think I have one here. Hold on. Look out. Let me see if I can find one real quick.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I can find it at the Benchmade table at Blade West. But
I think
I'm
I
just
have
curious.
One nearby. Let me look. Hold on. That should be what I do on my live stream.
What is the comparison?
Ask me what knives to compare. See if I have them nearby. Okay,
I got knives everywhere. They're all over my love seat. In my chair.
The G10 model, but this is the aluminum model. This is the mini. This is the 945, the mini Osborne.
Okay. So it's size comparison to the regular.
So here's a regular. This is the REI G10 version.
So it's not,
pivot.
It's really not that much smaller. I mean, I'd have to get it in hand because, like I said, I have above average size hands.
Mm-hmm.
But I've noticed that I like some of the smaller versions of knives. Like I've said it before, for years, I wanted a 228, a Chavez 228.
Oh, okay.
And then I got this, which is the smaller version. Oh, and when I had a chance to get the 229, which is the same size as the 228, I mean, it's just a production model of the mid-tech version of the Redención. And so I got this one, and I was like, wow, I really like this. And then I saw the 229, and I was holding the 229. I was like, it's just too big. Like, I like this better. I actually like some of the smaller versions of some of the same. Now, but then there's also the flip side. Like, as much as I like Elliot, I tell him all the time, I was like, you get an honest opinion. That's why I think that's one of the reasons Elliot likes me, is I'll give him an honest opinion. Some people like to just like, oh, Elliot, everything you make is great. And so he handed me a mini Archbishop, and I was like, this is pretty horrible. And I was like, it's not a bad knife. I love the Archbishop and I love the design. It's just that size wise, it just didn't fit my hand. Would you stop scratching me? I'm okay. I'll pet you. He's poking me with a claw to get me to pet him.
Let's do this. Come on.
He's like, are you going to pet me or what? So like, there's just some knives because of the size of my hands that scale down and change. It puts the pocket clip in a weird place. It puts the, the finger choil in a weird place.
And that's the biggest thing to me. I tell a lot of people, because they're like, which one's best for me? And I'm like, honestly, if you can find somewhere you can get it in your hand, whether it be a friend, a knife shop, whatever, get it in your hand before you buy it.
Well, that's one of the nice things about knife shows. Like, everybody's like, why do you like going to knife shows? Like, knife shows are a thing of the past. And I was like, yes and no. Like, I remember before I got to start going to knife shows, before the channel was a thing, before I got invited to shows, people paid my way to shows, and I was a knife designer. I never went to shows, and there's very few brick and mortar stores out here in San Diego. And I would order knives, and I did a whole video about it, like the sight unseen. Like you order a custom knife, and then it shows up, and you're like, I'm really disappointed. Like I paid how much for what? And it's kind of the same thing. Like you get knife designs that you like, and you like the way they look, and then you get them in hand, and there's just I do like the fact that Knife Center and Blade HQ a lot of times will let you return things. If you get something you're like, this just isn't for me, and that's really cool.
Knife from one of them before.
Say what?
I received a return knife when I ordered a knife before.
Oh yeah. Well, and I usually don't mind a returned knife as long as it's not like all janky and screwed up. But a lot of times,
janky, and I was like, how do I get a janky knife from a new one? They're like, oh, sorry, it was probably one that got returned.
Well, I don't have a problem with it as long as it's not like a functionalist. Like when I say like returns, like if you get a knife and you're like, it's just not like I want to return it. As long as I wouldn't return a knife that I used. Like if I get a knife and it's just uncomfortable in my hand, I'm like, this isn't what I want. I would return it. But like if I've used it, no, absolutely not. If I've sharpened it, no.
I think somebody did the 30-day carry test and then was like, yeah, I'm good.
I'm good.
For 29 days and returned it.
So I have a question for you, and I don't want to waste too many of my questions because I am going to have you on the channel like for an actual full episode.
Yeah.
But outside of Benchmade, what would your favorite knife other than a Benchmade be?
Good question.
He's like, I don't know. I only own Benchmades.
No, I have tons of other knives. My
just
question.
kidding.
No, I know. I hear you. I get that all the time. The question I would follow up with to kind of clarify would be, are we talking EDC kind of knife or like heavy duty, something that would take a little bit of an abuse or just whatever? I mean,
just general carry, like of all your other knives, like what would be your like go-to if you weren't carrying a Benchmade? What would be the one that you would think about carrying?
So I carry quite often I was trying to find it here.
Nathan is like, if Mike returns a knife he sharpened, the value increases.
Yeah, exactly. 100%, man. So one of the things I look at and have carried quite a bit is my Spyderco Para 3 lightweight, which I'm trying to find right now, but I think I put it on my other table behind me.
So you're a purveyor of all the companies that I really kind of have a bad taste in my mouth for.
Oh, really? And then the other one that's caught my eye in the last year, is the Hogue Deca.
Oh, okay. I thought he was going to say Emerson, and I was going to have to put him in timeout. Like, nope. All right.
I will say this. The TRM Neutron 2 is creeping up there.
I've got. I think that's what's in. Oh, that's nice.
The red,
hang on a second.
Blue.
Let me pull that. So that is nice. Okay, that's sexy. I like Hogue, and I like the folks at Hogue. Like I've done. There's been a couple times that I stopped by their table at a show. I stopped by at USN. I stopped by at Blade Show West, and I filmed there. And on top of the fact that their knives are they're pretty straight. Their knives are pretty straight. They're just really nice. You know, there's some tables you stop by and you come over and you can just. You're like, they're just not as nice as you would expect them to be, considering they're at a show. And I know you get tired at a show and all that.
Yeah, I will say honestly, that's one of the things that attracted me to them. And I know some people are kind of like jury's still out, with them.
But I mean, Hogue's been around for a while, and I'm not seeing too many issues.
No, they came out. They made a deal with Doug Ritter.
Yeah,
they brought his RSK MK1 over. And the Mini, and they're knocking that out of the park with G10 and 20 CD for $150 or so.
That's another guy I'm trying to get on the channel.
Oh, Doug's amazing, man.
Yeah, Doug's a great guy.
Shows, that.
Yeah, but you can spend hours. Like literally, I was talking with Doug at the show the one time, and Nico, like I was talking to him, and Nico comes over. He goes, "Bro, we're running out of daylight to film." And I was like, "What?" He goes, "You've been talking with Doug for like an hour and a half." And I was like, I don't know, Doug, I gotta go.
Exactly. I don't know how Doug gets around the show.
But he seems to. Like Like you look
Yeah.
up and he's just always somewhere else, but he still managed to find time to talk with anybody that wants to talk to him.
And that was the coolest part, especially, I talked to him at Blade Show West, but then I saw him at SHOT Show 2020. And, instantly he's like, oh, hey, Zach, what's happening? Like, he remembered me. And I'm like,
yeah, I was going to say I saw
wild,
him. I saw him at Blade West in Portland. And then the following year, I saw him at USN. I mean, it was a few months later, October. And then, well, I guess it would have been from October to August. So almost a year.
Yeah.
And he still remembered me. And I was talking to him. He's like, hey, how you doing? And I had sent him I wrote up a thing like my take on knife laws and things like that. And he goes, yeah, I got your email. He's like, that was great. And I was like, wow, you remembered even that I sent him the email. What a great dude. And we went and got a cup of coffee at the little thing and we're talking. I mean, he's just a great dude, and he's passionate about the knife rights thing, and I would love to get him on the channel.
And honestly, that's one of those things where, Hogue embraced him and his mission, with knife rights. And they're like, we're going to not only donate something from each knife, but we're going to support, him and the mission itself.
Well, and I mean, it makes sense for knife companies to do that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's why I don't understand why not everybody's in on it, which there's sure a lot more than we publicly know about, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Guys, you guys see this. This is like every time I sit down.
You're hiding treats in your pocket or something.
He is the sweetest cat. Like he's just always wants to hop up in your lap. He wants to snuggle. I've turned this garage into my workshop / living room. We don't even I've said it before. I don't have a TV in the actual living room. My wife spends all her time at the kitchen table and she has a computer and she does her little crossword puzzle games and stuff. So I'm always out here in the garage and I have a TV and I'll close the garage door part way. And this cat will, like if I'm laying on this love seat watching a movie, like leaned up against the arm, he's just got to be up on your chest. And I figured out he doesn't just want to be on your chest. He wants you to get him wrapped up in your arms so that just basically the only thing sticking out is his head. And then he'll go to sleep. If you don't, he just won't leave you alone past the catnip.
Yeah, I like that.
No. But
so
well,
hey,
I
have
don't
a question. I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
So have you got one of these in hand yet? The mini Adamas or the full size Adamas, the new version.
I've handled the full size Adamas, which is a lot like the military version that we had for a lot of years that we carried.
Okay.
That was an auto, and it's really similar. That's what I was saying. Like back in the day, those were the type of knives that's what you got. Like they were top tier.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that knife design. It's a little bulky, but it's also really reliable. If it's built the way the old ones were. Mm-hmm. Now the old ones, like I said, the old ones were a push button auto. The ones that I'm talking about,
they haven't come out with those yet that I know of.
Yeah, but they were the big full size push button autos that we carried, that we had for years, that were issued.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Is that and an Infidel?
The Infidel, I'm not as big a fan of the Infidel, and I'm not a super big fan of out the fronts anyway. I mean, I have a couple, but if I was going to have to pick, the action on the Infidel is a lot sloppier, a lot softer, and the deployment's a lot less reliable on the Infidel compared to a Micarta. True. They really are, but all the out the fronts are really picky. They get dirt, and that's why you'd see guys carrying these. And we would go out to the desert and they're like, hey, and they'd try to pull their knife out. And they're like, it's not doing anything. I was like, it's because that's not what you need. You need just a regular pocket knife.
Yeah, it's hard if you get anything in there.
But the Hogue out the fronts are up there.
I haven't tried those.
They're up there with the Micartas.
Are they?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm kind of partial to the Micarta out the fronts because the action on them is really good. They are really reliable for an out the front. Mm-hmm. I know that they had some issues with their quality, their customer service for some years, but I mean, they've gotten that taken care of. And as much as people might not like Tony Marfione, I really like Tony. He's a really good guy. He's always been very open and accepting and not even that. What do I want to say? Accommodating. Even though he's really busy, it shows he's willing to talk to you. I caught him at the show one time. Jason McCoy's wife was sick. And I was like, hey, Tony, I know you're busy. And he goes, no, what's going on? He's like, I'll talk to you in Portland. And I was like, yeah, I was worried, Jason's wife was sick. Is everything okay? He goes, nope, everything's great. We got it taken care of. He's like, thanks for looking out. He's like, I'll make sure he knows that you're, and like, he answers my DMs on Instagram. So, it's just one of those things. Like, some people have an opinion of someone that I don't necessarily hold the same. You know what I mean? Gotcha. I personally think that Tony Marfione is a great dude, and his son TJ from Heretic is awesome. He's one of my favorite people to talk to at a knife show. So
nice.
What is this?
Yeah, I only talked to Jason when I was there, and I think it was Jason's son as well.
Jake. Yeah, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
I talk with Jake real regular too. Jake is actually starting he has a passion for bodybuilding, and now he is trying to work his way. He wants to try to do the Mr. Universe and the bodybuilding competitions. And so I talk to him pretty often. He's a good kid. Like I told Jake and his wife, Kaylin, every time I talk to their son, he's like, oh, how you doing, Mr. Emler? I was like, you could call me Mike. And he goes, no, I really can't. And I was like, that's the sign of a respectful upbringing. And it's something that's missing a lot. And Jason and Kaylin did a really good job with both their sons. They're both really respectful, really good boys. So, and they're not even boys anymore. They're men. They raised some very good men. So, I was going to ask you if you wanted to, did you ever get to review the stonefish? I know that you got to do the sea snake.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever get to review the stonefish? Was the bigger fixed blade that I did?
No.
Unless Josh has it for Full30, I will bring this to to Long Beach with me, and I'll let you borrow it if you would like. I know you're not as big into fixed blades, and this is definitely not an EDC fixed blade. This is a much larger knife, but if you wanted to borrow it, I would absolutely let you.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I'll definitely check it out for sure.
I have to polish that out. I just threw it on the concrete by accident. So, so Monster Racing, I had a question. Did you, I can't remember. Did you say that you finished out the GoFundMe that you were doing? I can't remember. So, what is this? Gun laws and horrible. I live in California. It depends. Russ, it kind of depends on where you're at too. Like I talked about that with Josh. I have very few problems with that. So yeah, I'm probably going to end this a little early tonight because it is Monday and I have to take my daughter to the gym first thing in the morning. And I don't want to be up all night because I am going to try and port this over to Apple Podcast tonight. So
oh wow, very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, if any of you guys are listening on Apple Podcasts, if you want to get the full video version, you're going to have to do it on YouTube. There'll be a link in the description for the Apple Podcast. Thank you, Mike and Zach, for another great live stream. I'm trying to keep this going. Like, I hope you guys enjoy it. And I'm trying not to, like, I know it's Beer and Blades podcast, but like I had a beer. So
I have water. Sorry.
Yeah, he had water. So like, I don't want you guys to think I drink every night. I do, but I don't want you to think it. I'm just kidding.
Right.
Yeah, I want to take a look at how we're doing. I want to look at getting guests. I want to look at different formats. There might be some times where I just basically like the way Thursday Night Knives is. Sometimes he just invites people in and you could just like, oh yeah, get a hold of me and I'll send you a link. And you guys, the only problem with that is you basically would have to text me and I don't want everybody in the world to have my phone number. So we'll have to get that figured out.
Get a Google phone number or something.
So what is this? 2A Dave says, are you guys doing both days at Blade Show West? I kind of have to. I'm working. Like, I'm getting paid to be there.
Yeah, I'll be there both days. I'm actually coming in on Wednesday, I think it is. Is it Wednesday or Thursday? I think I'm coming in Wednesday night or Thursday.
Are you talking about to fly in?
Yeah, and then obviously be at the show on Friday, Saturday. And then I booked a couple extra days as well, just to see if I need to, if Dave will let me come visit ProTech.
Dave. Oh, ProTech? He probably will. Dave's pretty good about.
They were moving last time I was down there, and he's like, "We really have everything kind of like packed, and a lot of stuff moved out." And I'm like, "Yeah, no, that's cool." So
yeah, it was. I talked with them. I want to say last time I talked with them was the Cali Custom Show. I didn't get a chance to talk to them at Blade West. I talked to them at Cali Custom Show. Are you coming to the Cali Custom Show?
when is that?
I don't remember, but it's not too far after Blade West. I'd have to look at Nico.
Where
Nico,
do they host that?
It's going to be basically, it's like in the same. It's probably going to be in the same venue as Blade Show West.
Okay.
Or just a few hotels down. Blade West is in Long Beach. I think that Cali Custom Show is like just outside of Orange, which is just right outside of Disneyland area. It's not very far. So
That's
it's
where, Jared and Brandy used to have their secondhand store.
Jared and Brandy
from Storage Wars.
Oh, in Orange?
Yeah.
There's a channel I follow, which is Justin Scard, and he goes to the they have a antique shop in Orange Circle, and
nice.
And he does all these videos about Disneyland and things like that. Him and his girlfriend actually have a booth in one of the antique shops in Orange, and I keep meaning to go up there and visit it just to take a picture and put it up on my Instagram and stuff like that. But it's it's just so hard to it's so hard to dedicate the time just to do something to take a picture or for a video.
Yeah. How far away are you from there?
What from Disneyland?
Orange. Yeah.
Anaheim, it's about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Not quite 2 hours. I'm down in San Diego, so it's only like an hour and a half.
I might have to pay you to go to Disneyland for a day during the candy cane time.
During the what?
When they make their candy canes. Dude, that's like crazy. Their candy cane stuff. I heard about it, and we were down there for one of the holiday seasons, and they were making candy canes. And I'm like, what's this candy cane thing all about? And I'm like, okay, so we got a bracelet, got in line, and they give you this ginormous candy cane that's, it's at least, 14, 16 inches long, and probably about that big around. And it's like it's like all hand done by their candy makers. And it's like, you ever go to C's Candy and you get those little like peppermints in the clear plastic?
Yeah.
Like the little chunky ones. Well, and it's kind of that semi-soft peppermint.
Yeah. Well,
that's
we go every
candy canes like.
We had been going every year. Well, until I quit my job and money dried up a little bit, we had been going every year, and it was my daughter's birthday present every year. And we haven't went for a couple years, and most of that's not been the money thing. It's been this whole coof pandemic. But
right, yeah. They just
we would go around Thanksgiving. And it was just always a blast because it was like if you went there Thanksgiving, they had already gotten everything set up for Christmas, and it's gorgeous. But I think that's probably about the time you're talking about. So I would, but that's not something that we ever did. Like my daughter and we always had a set schedule. And if you guys are ever curious about what it's like when I go to Disneyland, I turn into a great big kid. And I've done family vlogs of us at Disneyland they're like,
so are you
45 minutes
like the one who skips down Main Street and stuff?
Oh, dude, I turn into the biggest because I had a real. I'm not gonna lie, I love my family, but I had a shitty childhood. We grew up really poor, and all the stuff that you got to see all these people doing, and I get to and then I joined the military, and it was you had to be straight laced, and you had to be a responsible adult, and you had to do this and now I got a kid and I had a job and I worked for the government. And I was like, the first time I went to Disneyland, I realized it was perfectly acceptable for these adults to act like children. And I was like, and I had at the time, like my 3-year-old daughter, and my wife was like, all right, I'm going to sit down here. You guys go have fun. And it was just us just going around and my daughter and I kind of enjoy the same things. We like roller coasters and we like rides and stuff. My wife doesn't, she has vertigo. So she just kind of comes along and You know,
That's
my daughter and I
cool,
go to Knott's Berry Farm, which is a big roller coaster park every year when they
Yeah,
have it free,
I'm
free
good
for
with
military and
Disneyland.
guests. Say what?
Yeah, I said I'm good with Disneyland. No Knott's Berry for me.
I loved it.
I
I love them
see.
both.
Russ was saying he did a couple days straight there, 7 days straight. Open
I
to
did
close.
3. So that's what I'll do. To close it out. It's my story for Disneyland. So one of the times we went, my daughter was old enough that she could have walked everything, but we went, and so we went and we were there for 3 days. And so the last day, the third day, we're just worn out, and I was in a crappy mood. And by the time we got to the end of the day, I was like, this is in the morning. I'm like, I just want to go back to the hotel. I'm like, how about we just call it a day? I know that we paid for the 3 days, but let's just go back and we can get a start on driving home. And my wife was like, look, she's got to at least let her get her pictures taken with the princesses here. We were in line and all this.
Yeah.
And so I get in line and I've got my phone and I'm using it as a camera. And there's this kid there. And I'm like, you could kind of tell. You could tell that he knew I was just in that mood. I just just let's get this done. And so you're gonna take a picture. And I hand him. He's like, let me get a picture for you. And he takes my phone. And he's like, I'll get some pictures for you. And he goes, yep. And then selfie. And then this, and here you go. And he hands his phone back to me. And it's him with this big goofy smile. He had already taken a picture of me and the kid, taken a picture of my kid with the princess, got pictures of all the other stuff, flipped it around, taken a picture of himself, and made it my screensaver. It was the background. And I was like, I looked at it and I was like, he goes, see, having a good time, aren't you? And I was like, yeah. And it just completely changed the tone of the day. So that was the night that my wife got locked into a restaurant because she fell asleep while they were cleaning. And I had to knock on the door and call her, and she came out and she's like, okay, I'm going back to the hotel. I was like, okay, me and the kid want to ride like a couple more rides. And so it was late and the park had already closed. So you don't have to leave just because the park closed. You can't come in. Yeah. And so here's me and the kid. And this was the trip that I had forgotten to take tennis shoes. All I had was cowboy boots.
Oof.
And I'm wearing cowboy boots. And my kid, we walked around the park. We rode all the stuff. The place was like dead empty. We rode It's a Small World like 3 times. We rode all the rides that we rode, the storybook boats and all that stuff that she wanted to ride. Because I think she was like 5, maybe 6 at the time.
Nice.
And so, she's a pretty good sized kid at this point. And we start walking back. She's like, Daddy, I'm so tired. And I was like, all right, how about I carry you for a little bit? And I pick her up and we were like, Zach, no joke. We're 1.5 miles, almost 2 miles from the park. And I'm walking and I got this kid and I got a backpack and I've got the kid and I pick her up. I was like, I'll carry you for a little bit. And she puts her head on my shoulder and she's out. And I was like, I carried this kid all the way back to the hotel. I walk in the hotel. I put the kid on the bed. My wife's taking a shower. She's like, why don't you? She's like, I got everything set up. She's like, I already packed out the car. Just go to sleep. You don't have to get up in the morning. She's like, I just couldn't do it anymore. Thank you. I hope you guys had fun. And I take my cowboy boots off and she's like, she looked, I didn't even look. She goes, your feet are bleeding. And I was like, oh, I know. I knew my feet were bleeding about half a mile ago, but I just couldn't put the kid down. She was asleep. And she was like, that's that, like, what would you do for your kid thing? Like, I would do anything for my kid. So
I saw 2A Dave made a comment in there. Since you're a fan of Knott's Berry, he said the funnel cakes there are where it's at. Yeah,
the funnel cakes are really good. And we always go, like, my daughter and I honestly thought the other day, like, why don't we just drive up there and go to Knott's Chicken Dinner?
Was it pretty? See, I've never been there.
Oh,
I'm not a huge roller coaster fan, so
they've got other stuff there. But I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to end this. For those of you that are listening on Apple Podcasts, if you want to see the actual video, I know I've said it a couple times, but I'll put a link to it in the actual video description or the podcast description. So I know this was a little bit of a weirder one. We didn't talk as much knife stuff, but I definitely wanted to have Josh come on and talk about Full30 because everybody kind of thinks it's like, oh, it's a direct competitor. It's really not. It's completely different. It's just a completely different community. So there's a lot of things that don't overlap, and it's a place that gives you a little bit of latitude on what you can and can't do. The flip side of it is it's a growing platform, so there's some hiccups with it. So Zach, I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead. You got anything you want to throw out? We got like 6 minutes left before I have to end the broadcast, or
Yeah, no, I think, the community is just awesome. I would tell everybody, just keep rocking, keep doing something kind for someone. That's my motto.
I was gonna bring those stickers out. Out, and I can't find them. I know you sent me the sticker and the badge, and I can't find them anywhere. So
yeah,
you don't have to send me anymore. I'm just saying I know they're here somewhere. I just couldn't find them.
No, so and that's all I would say. We've had some things going on in the community, and I think just like everything else, you're gonna have your ups and downs, but the community is what makes it awesome, and we keep trucking, we keep rolling, we keep having fun, and just like. You just kind of stop and look around, and you're like, yeah, this is pretty cool, pretty fun. All I can say is I hope they, keep Blade Show West going. Who knows in California, but I saw a comment earlier. I can't remember who it was. They were talking about the stuff getting crazy in Ohio right now, and they're looking maybe doing some more lockdowns. And I'm like, oh man, I hope we just avoid all that. No matter what your feelings are on the whole thing. I know everybody's got their own things, but I just, as long as we can look around, treat each other respectfully, we don't ever have to agree, but be respectful and do something kind for someone, and, keep on keeping on.
Yep. And with that, Zach, I'm going to go ahead and take you out. I'm going to do some final stuff. I will talk to you later. We're going to set up so we can do an entire episode.
Sounds good, man.
It's more like a split episode. We did an hour with Josh and almost an hour with Zach. So, all right, Zach, I will talk to you later.
Right on, man. Take care. See you guys later. Yep.
So, guys, last thing, if you want to support the channel, I have the new links to the merchandise store. They're up and available. They're in the description. So I'm going to end it because there's not much else to say. I love all you guys. Thank you so much for the support. All you guys that drop super chats. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It was awesome. Shopcat says thank you as well. He's currently laying here leaned up against me, enjoying it. If you want to get some of the shirts, who doesn't want a shirt with a knife on it? If you're a knife guy, they're available in my merch store. And there is a coupon code Crazy Sharp, capital C, capital S, all one word, Crazy Sharp. So I think it gets you 10% off. Not just my merch, all merch on the Ember Co. or Ember Shirt Co. site. So guys, take it easy. Do we have hoodies? Not yet. We do not have hoodies yet. We're working on it. So I can't pronounce your name. Yeah, that we don't have them yet. We're working on it. They're going to be some high quality hoodies. Same company that makes the shirt I've had this shirt for as long as I've had the channel. It hasn't worn out yet. It's the same company that makes this shirt is going to be providing the actual shirts for the merch store. They wear like iron. They last freaking forever. So guys, I love you all. Take it easy. I will see you later. If you want to listen to this, I will have it up hopefully tonight before I go to bed. Some neon. Some neon. I'm horrible. I'm just a backwoods hillbilly. I can't pronounce anything. So anyway, like I said, I will try to get this ported to Apple Podcasts tonight before I go to bed. And I will see you guys later. Take it easy. I always forget about the second. There's an end broadcast button. Then there's a second one. And I always forget to push the end broadcast button the second time.